grind, to the hustle, the pursuit of wealth. Every story, every journey, every climb from the shelf. Here's to the drive, to the fight, to pursuit of wealth.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Pursuit of Wealth podcast. We got Mr. Jace Wright here with us, rocking his Shelly basketball warm-up jersey.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what that actually is, but it's a cool hoodie.
It's just a cutoff.
It's a cutoff.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm excited for today. We got a little bit more formal today.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some stats that we want to talk about, some different topics that we're going to cover, and I'm excited to dive right into it. So
some of these are wild, bro.
Some of them are wild. I put this together, so Jace is this will be the first time that he's looked through some of these things. So he's going to have first reactions to some of these stats that I'm about to tell him. We're going to start off with a banger, dude. 60% of people who walked into Coachella last month didn't buy a ticket. They financed one. $600 for a wristband, paid off in installments. Buy now, pay later programs. 60% of people.
How much do you think that costs an individual in the long run? Because it was a $600 ticket, but you're doing a buy now, pay later. There's got to be some interest there.
Yep.
What do you think they paid?
So it depends on like the buy now program, whatever. There was one program that I saw that was like a flat $45 fee.
Okay.
And then I think you had to pay it back in like 3 or 4 installments.
Okay.
But if they did a different program, like they could have used, there's certain buy now, pay later programs, I think like Zip, Affirm, those kind of things. If they just use those programs to buy the ticket, there is usually I think there's a percentage on those. It's got to be high. It's got to be like 20+%, depending on how long they carry that out.
You can look at that two ways. Number one, you look at it from a business perspective. That's genius. You're delaying
companies.
Yeah, you're delaying the immediate return on like ticket prices, but probably increasing 10x.
100%. 100%. Dude, you think about, I mean, this is what car dealerships have done for 40 plus years.
Right.
It's never been about the purchase price of the vehicle. Broke people walk into a car dealership and say, and they answer the question that the sales guy's going to ask you, well, what do you want your monthly payment to be? Mm-hmm. They hit you with that every time. A wealthy person walks into a car dealership, they don't even talk about payments. All they talk about is price.
Yep. I
don't even want to finance it here. If I finance it, I'm going to finance it later. All I care about is what is my purchase price on this vehicle? If I want to get it for 60 grand, it's listed for 70, I want a $60,000 purchase price. Then you can actually negotiate.
You feel like you're negotiating with the monthly payment. Let me go talk to the manager.
Talk to the manager in the back. Oh, well, it looks like we can restructure this on an 84-month note, and we got your payment to where you wanted to be.
And you're walking out. Yes, I won.
Dude, I got my payment to $400 a month. Yeah, on a freaking 8-year note at 7% interest. Like, it's just so funny that the key principle here that we're going to dive into as we go through this is the fact that people have just lost touch with money.
And I'll be the first to say that, like, I'm laughing at the car dealership example because I was that guy.
100%.
I walked out of a car dealership feeling like I won because I got it to the monthly payment I wanted, but I went to the highest year that they could in order to get it there.
Yeah.
And I'm that guy. So that's why I'm laughing. So don't feel bad if you fell for that too, because I fell for it as well.
They've been doing it for 40 years.
Yeah.
Majority of people fall. I would probably say 90%. I'm going to make this stat up, but I would probably say 90% of people that go into there,
it's probably accurate,
do that. They just care about the monthly payment. They're not even processing what the actual cost of the vehicle is. Mm-hmm. They don't even acknowledge that. It is just the monthly payment. They don't realize they just spent $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 on a vehicle. Mm-hmm. And what does that actually cost them? It's just like, oh, well, it doesn't really matter because all I care about is what I have to pay monthly.
Yep.
And that basically we've carried over that thought process into everything now. So we're going to dive into that. Other stat that we're going to share, because it's going to be another conversation point for today, is MIT just put out the numbers on what it actually costs to live. And we got the numbers for actually Idaho Falls. So Idaho Falls, a family of 4, 2 working parents, 2 kids, needs $109,000 a year household income to cover basic needs. This includes savings or wants.
Yeah.
This is basic needs.
Yeah. Vacations or extra golf clubs or going out to eat on occasion, taking your wife out on a date weekly, none of that, just basic stuff.
to live comfortably, basic needs, 109,000. So no vacations, no retirement savings, just bills. And the median family in Idaho Falls right now makes 73,000. So there's a $36,000 gap between what people earn and what survival actually costs.
And I'd be interested, does that 73,000, does that include 2 working parents?
That's just the average household income.
Okay.
So
that hasn't separated it if there is. It
Correct.
doesn't give you a separate. I'd be curious what that stat is, because it's got to be maybe a little more than that if it's 2 working parents.
Yeah, I think if it's a dual income household, you're making more than 73.
But the other stat to that is if you are dual working parents, how much are you paying in daycare?
Childcare.
Yep.
100%. We're going to dive into that. And then on top of this, what we're going to end with is while all this is happening, Americans out here financing their groceries with pay now or buy now, pay later programs. We got the federal government that needs to refinance $10 trillion, trillion with a T, $10 trillion of debt this year. A third of the national debt. That's all coming due at once. They have 2 ways to get out of this, and both of those are going to change what your money is worth. So we're going to cover these things, so stay tuned while we go through it. We're going to talk first off how we lost sight of the real cost of things. So we talked about 60% of people that went to Coachella were on payment plans. Some of them were $49 down on a $600,000 on a $600 ticket, and they had to pay that balance back over like a 3-month installment period.
So the average person's looking at that and like, oh, dude, I got to go to Coachella for $50.
Yeah, $50 down. You
Yeah.
put $50 down. Yeah.
They're looking at it that way though. Like, yeah, it was
100%.
sick. I paid $50 to go. I just got to pay the $600 later.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And I think it's in like weekly installments over a 3-month period, which is, what is that? 12 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So you're breaking that into like 12 weekly costs.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to think about if you have to break a payment, if you have to buy something and break it into 12 different payments to be able to afford it, you can't afford it.
No.
And that's what we've lost sight of is at what point did we lose the thought of, can I afford this to like, can I afford this, but can I get a monthly payment for it?
And what's wild is like when you think of like if we're using specifically Coachella as an example, that doesn't register in my brain because I don't value that form of entertainment that highly. So what you and I need to do is probably try to understand where people are coming from and why this is happening and put that into a perspective of what I find entertaining.
Vacations. This
Yes.
is Disney has now come out with, not they came out with, but they have a program where you can book a full Disney trip, hotel, entertainment, all that, tickets to the park, everything for $200 down. And then you just they make installment payments, and it all has to just be paid, 30 days before you actually go on the vacation. So, okay, you could look at that and be like, well, you're booking it. And if you book it far enough in advance, and like,
You could look at that as like you're forcing yourself to budget for it and all that stuff. I get that. Like,
yeah.
So that's kind of smart on Disney's part, in my opinion, but it's the same concept. You probably need to have the money in place before you decide to go on the trip.
Correct. If you cannot pay for it at the time of booking, you can't afford it.
Right.
Like you should have budgeted the last 6 months to then be able to book that trip and take it. And that it's the patience. Like we don't have patience to build that savings up and do it the right way. We're just like, oh, well, like we can do it. We'd structure it this way and we'll just make installments and like I'll, put money aside each week. And
right.
Cause like if somebody's doing that, they're definitely not contributing to a savings account or a retirement account
For sure.
or investing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key thing is if you have to do it this way to go on a vacation, you're not doing everything else you should be doing to build your wealth long-term. Now they have the buy now, pay later programs, they've partnered with cruise lines. So you can book a full cruise with the buy now, pay later programs. Delta, flights, hotels, like they have integrated themselves into the whole travel industry. And so you look at this concept, there's now 91 million users on buy now, pay later programs. That's like that's almost a third of the US. I think there's like 350 million people in the US, but 91 million people is a lot.
And the crazy thing is like that the concept has been here forever. It's just evolving into, little bit more of the entertainment side of things. Like the concept for Home Depot to have a credit card there has been there for a while.
Yeah.
And that's a buy now, pay later program.
Yeah.
You just apply for their credit card. The catch is you can't fall victim to that. The reason everybody's doing it is because they are making more money than what they would have if you would have just bought the dang lawnmower
They're increasing
when you were able to afford it.
They're creating less friction.
Yeah.
To buy all these things. And if you look at that concept, a credit card for a store, you're still only getting 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these buy now, pay later programs are 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just like a car dealership. They're just extending out that credit line for you to make it feel more manageable for you to make that bad decision and go just book it.
Yeah.
Book the vacation because we can have you pay for it over 3 months. The crazy thing is 29% of the people, there's 29% have used the buy now, pay later for groceries.
That's wild.
Groceries. 47% of buy now, pay later users paid late in the past year. Almost half of them have paid late on their installments.
It's crazy.
That's up 41% from 2025.
And that's where my heart hurts a little bit because I'll bet a lot of that comes from like they just don't have the money for groceries. So they're doing a buy now, pay later program, which is sad. But a lot of it comes from just not being responsible with your finances.
Correct. Because if they're a user of the buy now, pay later, they're now using it for groceries because they probably bought a Coachella ticket with the buy now, pay later. They bought some form of entertainment with it and then put themselves in a pickle. And now they're using it to buy groceries.
Yep.
That's the problem.
Crazy.
I bet nobody started out was like, I'm going to use buy now, pay later for groceries. But then it's gotten to that point because they've made poor decisions with the program on other things that were wants and then put themselves in a position where now they've got all these monthly payments coming out. They're like, dude, if I need to make my monthly payments, I can't afford groceries. So why not put the groceries on a monthly payment? But it all just compounds over time.
Your entire life is going to be financed if you're not careful. Because
Dude.
now we're getting into like entertainment, we're getting into groceries, like your healthcare can be financed over monthly installments.
Yep.
Your everything, taxes can be in monthly installments. Like every aspect of your life is, and you're just going to compoundly get put in the ground.
Think of how demoralizing it would be to get a paycheck and then have all these monthly payments because of bad decisions that you made before you ever got this paycheck. And now the paycheck is completely gone to monthly payments.
Yep.
That is a really hard hole to get out of. The sad part is 54% of users say they can't make ends meet without buy now, pay later programs now. 62% of parents with kids under 18 say the same thing. It's almost half. That's half of 91 million people. That's like almost 50 million people now say that they are dependent to make ends meet using buy now, pay later programs.
And the whole core problem with the buy now, pay later programs, and we've hinted to this, but I want to put it in simple terms, is two things I'll say. Number one, you've got to learn to say no. And number two, you've got to delay gratification when you want to say yes. What I mean by that is like when you think of just day-to-day life, let's take something that you and I share.
Yeah.
Dance is mother frickin' expensive.
I'm in the early stages of this. Yes.
Okay. I have two daughters that are in dance. You're going to have some daughters in dance.
Yep.
It is frickin' expensive.
Yeah.
Right. Imagine if I was on buy now, pay later programs because of dance. Right. But the catch there is like, I have my kids, I have my daughter. I want to provide an opportunity for them. Of course, I'm going to want to say yes to that. Like, what kind of parent would I be if I said no to that opportunity? And people are thinking that, but then not doing anything anything in addition to support that. They're just going to buy now, pay later programs on everything else in their life.
It is the easiest thing to justify
So easy
in your head.
Yes.
Because even with like the vacations and the concert, the first thing you're going to say is, oh, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to go to Coachella. My favorite artist is there. I don't know if my artist will be there ever again. I need to go experience this. And you justify it for like, it's a once in a lifetime experience. it is really hard because I understand that. I love experiences. My whole reason about making money and building wealth is so that I can go enjoy experiences and never have to look at the price tag. But in order to get to that level, I have to delay a lot of these things that I would enjoy doing so that I can save and make all the right decisions to then live the life that I want to in the future that most people are never going to get to. If you do it wrong in your early stages, in your 20s and stuff, where you fall victim to this, you start expensing and financing everything because of this thought of it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, you're going to put yourself in a really hard financial situation that you're going to have to try to dig yourself out of the rest of your life. And
the problem's not Coachella.
The problem is not Coachella.
Not the vacation.
Correct.
That's not the problem. And I want to make sure people understand that.
It is the it is the mindset.
Yep.
We have lost touch with money because money nowadays, it's like, it is just digital. Mm-hmm. When's the last time you held $1,000 in cash?
Recently.
Well, you killed the episode. Just kidding. I get what you're saying. As soon as I said that, I was like, you've probably been to the casino lately. You probably held $1,000 in cash.
No. The reality is I split the cost of my backyard fence with my neighbor and he paid me in cash. So I got to hold $1,000.
Okay. When's the last time you went and bought something expensive with cash?
Never. Like I cannot remember the last time. It's all been on a card.
So we don't feel the pain of it, of like us handing over $10,000. Next time you go buy a car, it's like take $30,000, $40,000 into the dealership and decide that you want to part ways with that money. It would feel completely different. I've started to realize, like, I've always kind of been a not anti Dave Ramsey guy, but like, Dave Ramsey's extreme. I'm starting to realize like why he's extreme.
He has to be.
The cash envelope system, I get it. I understand it now. Like
it's a concept.
It's a concept. You physically have to give that money away, and it feels so much different when you physically do it. If you had to go buy your Coachella ticket and like get $600 in cash and be like, here is that, I want that ticket, it'd feel way different than pushing a button for a $50 deposit and then making these installment payments.
You don't even have to pull your card out of your wallet anymore.
Yeah, it's all
you have to show your face to approve it online or at the store. Like it's all on your phone.
So going back to the Dave Ramsey thing, this is the principle. Like, people argue with him on credit cards, and I've been on the other side of, I think credit cards are fine if you can use them responsibly. I understand his argument now. Is I probably do spend way more using a credit card because I don't feel it.
Yep.
If I was putting everything on debit and cash where it was coming out of my account same day, or I was like giving over cash to somebody for something, I would feel a lot different about it. Like I probably wouldn't spend as much on clothes. I just ordered another freaking round of clothes. Late at night, jumped on. I was like, I need some more shirts.
Face ID, man.
Face ID.
That's all it took.
$300 later. And then I'm like, well, with these new shirts, I need new shorts.
Yep.
Another $250 later. I'm like, dude, it would be different if I had to actually like pull out that cash. Yep. It's like, and I've always justified it with points, and I am still a big points guy. Like I love getting credit card points, but I do understand for the average, if you're not in a good financial position, you do not play the credit card game. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't. If you don't have,
tear them up, get rid of them. Honestly, it's what we had to do. It's what I had to do.
Yeah.
We tore up every credit card except for one. We had like 4 or 5 at the time when we were in debt as much as I was.
Yeah.
Tear them up and get rid of them.
We become, it's crazy when you actually look at like spending money, you hear the crazy stories. And I know people in these situations that have high debt, credit card debt, personal debt, that then go on like vacations. Mm-hmm. And it's like a drug addict. What does a drug addict do to escape? They're like, oh, they're down on themselves. They're in this low part of life. They go do more drugs. It's like, what does a person do that's like in a bad financial decision or like position to alleviate that pain and pressure? They just go make more bad financial decisions.
You act like they spend in a way that makes them feel like they're not in debt.
Correct.
That's the catch.
But they're still in debt.
And
it's just getting worse.
Yeah. So you're in debt, but you use that same credit card that you're in debt with to spend money to go more in debt to make you feel like you're not in debt by going on vacation.
It makes you feel better.
Yeah, 100%.
Alleviates the pressure, the pain, like not alleviates the pressure, but just makes you feel like it's not there.
And here's what's funny too. Like when we were thinking about cutting the credit cards up, I had a couple people that were like, oh, it's going to hurt your credit. Well, no shit. It's going to hurt your credit. It's supposed to.
Yeah.
They want you to keep the credit card.
Oh.
Like who gives a crap if it hurts your credit? Get rid of the credit card. They want you to keep it. Like
What is your credit card going to be used for?
debt.
Or your credit. What is your credit used for?
To get,
Go get debt.
yes.
So it's like if you're trying not to get more debt,
Who cares?
who cares what your credit score is?
Who gives a crap?
Yeah.
Of course they are going to ding you for cutting up the credit card and turning off the account. I don't care.
That in itself is a whole other freaking the credit system. It's like, dude, that is such the way that it's structured is you look at somebody that's in a very bad financial situation, not a bad financial. I'm going to use a personal example.
Okay.
My mom, she sometimes gets into, she lives on a school counselor's salary. And she'll buy stuff. And then every once in a while she'll be like, I'm got a little bit of consumer debt again. And she has perfect credit, better credit than I do, like 8 something. Cause she always does make her payments.
Mm-hmm.
But you reward somebody for just being a good consumer. That's what the credit system is. It rewards good consumers. Go finance a vehicle. Why? So it can build your credit. Go get credit cards so it can build your credit. That's what you get taught, coming out of school.
Mm-hmm.
Go finance things so you can build your credit and have a good credit score.
Parents are even it was normal to get your kid a credit card early and have you buy gas so that it could build your kid's credit card or get their credit high. So when they do leave the house, if they do need to go get a car or then their credit's good. And
but if you think about the whole premise of it, it's all that does is set them up to go get debt early on.
Easier.
I've really set you up to go get financing earlier. Wish you the best. But dude, I was actually that person too. I'm like, I should probably get my kids. I'm thinking they're still young. I haven't done anything yet, but I'm like, I should probably get them, cars starting out because my wife, her parents did that for her. She was a co-signer on their credit card. So when we went to college, she had good credit. I didn't have really any credit established. I went to Wells Fargo, got my first card to start building my credit, but I had to build it up because I'd never had credit. And so I'm like, I need to do that for my kids. So they're set up a little bit earlier. But then the more you think about this, you're like, that just so they don't have to save for certain purchases. They can go get credit lines faster.
They want to buy a TV. It's a lot easier.
Yeah. I'm like, I actually don't want to set them up for that. They need to struggle.
Right.
They need to, it's just funny how when you actually look at the reason some things are structured the way they are, you're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
But they're really the narrative behind it. We're all confused. Why are parents so focused on their credit score? Yes, I understand it makes buying a house easier. But at what age do you need to buy a house? And there's something they came out with this last year that actually relooks it because it was such a struggle for responsible borrowers that just didn't have good credit history. It was hard for them to buy a house. They actually redid some of the loan standards so that they look at it's not as much, if you don't have any credit history, it's not as much of a deterrent for you to get a home.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It used to be worse than having bad credit. Having no credit history was almost worse than having bad credit.
Correct.
That's wild.
Which is insane. It's if you've been so responsible up to this point, you haven't had to take out any credit lines.
Congrats. You can't buy a house.
Yeah. Right? It's what, dude, I've shown you I've been financially responsible. I don't understand that. And I have a good income and zero debts. Why would you not loan to me? That made no sense to me too, but it's the system. It's they want you to play the system. And so anyway, I've just over the last few months, I've really kind of opened my eyes to a lot of these things. And I totally understand why Dave Ramsey is the way he is. And I think for the majority of people, they need to follow his advice.
Yeah.
Because it is what will get you out of any kind of bad financial situation. It's a foolproof way to become financially responsible. Not that you have to stay that way forever. I think once you have your stability, you can branch out and do some things. But if you find yourself in a pickle or you're in consumer debt, you need to cut the credit cards, do what Jace did, and get yourself out of that.
I legit followed Dave Ramsey's advice. I read his book. I did everything. It got me to break even basically with a little bit of savings. That's what it's designed to do. Then where we start, I think, disagreeing with him is when you start investing and different things like that and using debt to build wealth. That's where I think we will start disagreeing with him a little bit. But for the entry-level person like myself,
Yeah.
to emphasize what you just said, follow his system. It works.
100%.
It's foolproof.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Anyway, we've ultimately, like, if you're going to make a big purchase, my advice is don't look at a monthly payment on anything. Look at the actual price tag and decide. Decide how much time that's going to cost you based on how much money you make hourly, and decide if the purchase is actually worth it. Mm-hmm. I think if you use it, if you look at things from that lens, financially, like your life will change. Don't look at your monthly payment. Who cares what the monthly payment is? Look at the actual price tag. Decide if the price is worth what you're willing to pay. And then you can find out what the monthly payment is if you need to finance something.
Yep.
So, and same thing with a mortgage, dude. I mean, like, we're real estate agents.
Mm-hmm.
Buyers, please don't just be focused on your monthly payment.
So much more than that.
So much more than that. Like, look at the actual value of the house that you're buying. Are you buying it at a good price? Ask your realtor for comps. This is actually one thing that's crazy is most buyers don't ever ask the realtor for comps on the purchase.
All they care about is their monthly payment.
All they care about is their monthly payment. Every time a seller's selling a home, of course, they want comps to know that they're going to sell it for market value. Well, why is a buyer not worried about paying market value or getting a deal on a property?
They don't know any better.
They don't know any better. They're just like, well, what's my monthly payment on this thing?
Sweet. That works.
Yeah. And so please, if you're a buyer, if you're working with an agent, please ask your agent when you are making an offer, ask them for some comps and make sure that you're paying market value or getting a deal on the property and not overpaying on the property. Don't just be focused on your monthly payment of what you can afford there. Okay. Second thing I want to talk about is what is the actual cost of in today's economy? What do you need to be making? What does your household need to be bringing in to live comfortably? Now it ranges. And, when I was first looking at these things, I was looking at just like kind of averages, but then I wanted to dive deep because into our personal, like Idaho Falls area, the national median household income is 80,000. And we talked about Idaho Falls is like 73. So we're under the national slightly.
Right.
A family of four needs, this is around major US cities, $200,000 to live comfortably. And that follows like the 50-30-20 rule, which is like 50% necessities, 20% savings, and like 30% wants. Mm-hmm. So that's how like MIT breaks out there. Based on those metrics, how much would you need to be making to have 50% of it go to like just your living costs and then still have some additional savings and fun stuff after that. And that's what comfortable is. Mm-hmm. Living comfortably means that you have all your basic necessities met, you can save money, and you can have some, not all, but some of your wants that you want. Now, for like areas like the Bay Area, obviously cost of living's crazy. In Boston, you need close to $400,000 to live comfortably. Comfortably. That's not like live an extravagant life. That is live just comfortably in that
surviving.
Area. That's surviving. Yeah. So families need like $9,000 or more, $9,360 more this year than last year, just to maintain the same amount of comfort.
If you didn't get that raise, start sacrificing.
That's what we talk about. It's like, and this number changes the more kids you have. Mm-hmm. And I have 3 kids now. I've started to notice my increase of cost on everything.
Everything.
We had twins, so we had a really big increase of like, dude, they were on formula. I think we were paying we had like $800 a month in formula. And then you add diapers. We're going through double the diapers, wipes,
yep.
Everything. And so obviously the more kids you have, that number kind of increases. So Idaho Falls family of 4, you need about $109,000. So that's, 2 adults, 2 kids. Mm-hmm. If you have 3 kids, you're looking at $132,000. And then a single working parent with 2 kids still needs to be bringing in about $100,000. And that I think that kind of takes into account some childcare. And that's just for basic needs. That's no vacations, no savings. And we look at the cost of living with things. I see that, dude. I'm like, if you're making $100,000 a year, let's do some quick math. If you're making $100,000 a year, I don't know what tax bracket that is. Is that probably like 22% tax bracket?
Yeah, it's got to be around there.
So let's say you're gonna bring in, let's say 100,000. You're gonna bring in 78% of that. If you're like 22%, so you're getting like 78 grand a year. So you're bringing in $6,500 a month. Okay, after taxes, mortgage payment, car payment, groceries, insurance. Like, dude, it is really easy to burn through $6,500 in a month.
Fast, especially if you have kids.
So it makes sense. It's getting really difficult to be a single income household. And if you are a sole provider for your household, you should look at these numbers, because you need to get to an idea. It used to be if you're making six figures, dude,
you've made it.
You were crushing.
Yep.
If you had a dual income household, you and the spouse were working and you were both making six figures, so you're bringing in $200,000 the household, dude, you were like, you were living life. That was a lot of money. Now in most major cities, that's not, that's to live. That's
to survive.
To survive, you need to be bringing in $200,000 a year. The cost of living has increased dramatically. And I don't think we've talked about it enough. I think we feel it. Like, if you're making $100K a year, you're probably confused, because your whole life you thought, I just want to go make six figures. If I make six figures, life's going to be good. Because for our parents, if they made six figures, life was good.
Yep.
It is not the case now. If you're making six figures, like, you're cool. You're like, you might be breaking even on your expenses.
So what does someone do? Like, what's the solution there?
I think the biggest thing is you've got to look at, if you're making less than six figures, you need to figure out a different skill set. Like, look at the job that you're in. What is the ladder? Can you get to the income levels that you need to be comfortable? If you're making if you're a household making like 50, 60 grand a year, you've got to make a change.
And I'm going to add to this too, because I think this is so freaking important. So listen up. If you are paying for college and going into debt, look at the end result of that career. And if it is sub six figures for that career, you are being scammed.
I would say 100%. I would say, even if you're not set to make like $150,000 a year coming out of college,
at the bare minimum,
your spouse better also be going to college for something that's going to bring in six figures. Or else you guys are going to struggle. And you've got now debt that you have to pay back. The crazy thing, when I was doing some research on this stuff, most people don't consider student loan debt. They're like, oh, I'm not in debt. Well, it's like, wait, you have student loan debt. Well, that's not like debt.
You don't feel it for 3 years. You're like, oh yeah, you get all this debt. We won't make you start paying for 3 years.
Yeah.
But then in 3 years, after you're in the depths and still trying to work and get through school, and you haven't saved up any money, and all of a sudden that school debt now starts becoming a monthly payment, you're now in oh shit mode, because you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that $40,000 that I'm in debt for.
The biggest thing is, a lot of people don't consider it debt because they think the government's going to pay it off. They were under that impression the last few years that the government, if you just vote in the right person,
don't bank on the government to bail you out of anything. It's never going to happen.
It's never going to, nobody's coming to save you. Side tangent, but that with college, I agree with you. Do not go to school. You should, and honestly, not even the premise, not even is just applicable to school. It's applicable to just life. If you're going to go into a career, what is the end goal with that career?
Yep.
Where does that career lead? And is it going to get you to the life that you want? You need to reverse engineer your whole life.
You're not taught that way. You grow up, you're like, oh yeah, I want to be a dentist. But you don't know what's required to that. You just have the dream of being a dentist. You don't know what that life looks like or how much it brings in. It just sounds good. I want to go into the medical field. I want to do this. Like, you don't know what's required. You have to reverse engineer it.
Reverse engineer. Where do you want to get to? Yep. What's the end goal? Where do you want to, what kind of house do you want to live in? What kind of cars do you want to drive? Where do you want to live? What is the cost of living where you want to live? If you start there at an early age, and then you can reverse engineer, okay, I need to be in a career field that's going to be able to, that has the potential to make X, 200, $250,000 a year. Okay, well, now you can make decisions on what are the career fields that I could go for? Where do I need to start? If I start here, can I work my way up to this position that's going to earn this amount of money? If you're not thinking about that, like you're going to be, a lot of people just never think through life that far. And then they're just like in this hamster wheel of like working and feeling like they're not getting anywhere. And then they get like small incremental raises and they just feel like they're never going to get ahead. They're like, oh, well, now I'm making 60 grand instead of 50 grand. Well, it's like, dude, 60 grand in today's dollars, like you're not even pacing with inflation.
Yeah.
Like you're backtracking every year.
Like your stat here, families need $9,300 more this year compared to last year. That's just inflation. Congrats. You got a $10,000 raise. Now you can just keep the same lifestyle that you've been living because it doesn't help you.
Yeah. And if that lifestyle hasn't allowed you to save and invest or put money aside each month,
going nowhere.
You're still going nowhere. And that's where I think it's so frustrating when I see people that are like living paycheck to paycheck. One, there's only two levers to pull. You either go make more money and then you can also reduce your expenses.
Mm-hmm.
I understand you can only reduce your expenses so far, but like reduce them as far as you can. And if you're still not in a position where you have money left over each month to invest, you need to pull the other lever. You need to go find a way to make more money and figure out what skill you have. Whatever job you're in, you probably have some skill. It could be, if you're in construction, you have a skill of like framing, trim work, whatever. And could your skill be leveraged for higher value somewhere else? Can you go work for another builder if you're like in the construction field? I do trim work. I do trim work in Idaho Falls. Is my skill more valuable in Jackson Hole? Well, go do trim work in Jackson. You might be able to charge 3 to 4 times the price. Yeah, it's a drive, but who cares? Like your goal needs to be, where is my skill set the most valuable, and try to get my time spent in that area so that I can increase my income. Or if like my skill set that I have right now just isn't that valuable, you need to go figure out a new skill set. And
have the mental discipline that if you do go get that increase, we say it almost every podcast, I swear, don't increase your lifestyle with that change. You're screwing yourself. And the real life example, I'm in the food industry 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever it was. I don't like how much money I'm making. I want to go make more. I start donating plasma.
Yeah.
I'm donating my body for freaking money at this point.
Selling your body.
Selling my body. It did nothing.
Yeah.
I made $500 extra, but where did that money go? Bullshit stuff.
Yeah.
I went out to eat.
Yeah.
It did not help me at all. Now, it wasn't a whole lot of time spent because I was able to go like for an hour after work or whatever. But if you're going to devote your time to going and getting a second job to try to get out of the situation that you're in, or increase your money so that you're out of this problem that we're talking about, the key factor is it has to go towards yourself in investing, or you will be in the same position.
You need to have a plan for that money before you ever start.
Yes.
Because you probably justified it as like, oh, well, I went and made this extra $500 this month by doing this, so I can go eat out now.
Yep. It's exactly what I did.
It's the easiest justification of, oh, and it didn't take that much time, just like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Like, didn't take that much time. I made an extra $500, so now I can enjoy that on this. It's like, because you didn't have a plan for that money before.
Yep.
Before you started, you should have had a plan for that money. You need to have this concept in your head. And I honestly see this struggle with self-employed individuals more than anybody, is they're self-employed and they're just looking to make, $100,000, $200,000 a year. When they go make that $200,000 a year, they forget, one, that they should plan for investing, and two, that they should also plan to put money back into their business. Mm-hmm. So like if you're making $200,000 a year as an entrepreneur, you should be living off of like 60% of that. You should be living off of 140,000, whatever that is, 150,000, because 40%, you should plan on 20% going back into your business so you can continue to grow your business, and you should plan on 20% going like to investing. So like you should be putting that aside and not even living off that. The problem is people see $200,000 coming in and they're like, well, cool, now my lifestyle can increase to $200,000 a year. Not thinking, you need to have the premise of, I always need to live off of less than I'm bringing in. And if you're not self-employed, you're W-2, that number should at least be like 80%. Mm-hmm. Whatever my monthly paycheck is, net taxes, like after tax, what my monthly paycheck is that I get, I need to live off of 80% of this. Like just forget about the other 20%. You need to put that away. or you're never going to get ahead. And
my mentality's changed, and that's where people I hope can relate to this, because I just shared, this is what I did. I was in that rut. I'm there with you, right? Fast forward to now, self-analyze, understand yourself. I approached Anthony the other day. I said, okay, I'm about to have the biggest summer of my life in real estate.
Jace is crushing right now,
which is great. We're not here talking about that, but
I'm gonna hype you up.
I appreciate it. I know that if I just brought in that money and it sat in my bank account, I would probably spend it or find a way to spend it.
100%.
So in preparation, you just said plan for that money to go somewhere. I go to Anthony. I said, okay, I'm going to come into probably quite a bit of money coming into this summer.
Yep.
I want to make sure it's used smart and that we can take this and have it grow something else so that I don't just spend it on dumb crap. I'm in it. I'm experiencing it right now with everybody.
Yep.
So please listen to what we're saying, because it will work. Again, we're not financial advisors. We're just a couple of homeboys going through it together, right?
Yep.
But I promise, and I know for a fact that it is going to pay out in the long run. Because like I said, if I was just to get it, I'd go buy new golf clubs.
100%.
I'd go eat out probably 10 times more than I would. My wife would probably buy something. We might even get a new car. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Get a play set for the backyard.
Yeah.
Get like
I could
landscaping budget would
money
increase
so fast.
Oh yeah.
So fast.
It's actually, it's amazing how fast you can spend money.
Yeah.
Like on things you never even thought you wanted or needed.
And you will justify it in your brain every time.
But if the money's there, you're going to justify it. That's something I've been really good at, is every time we do get money, I deploy it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I put it into a project. I'll when we're buying flips and stuff, I'll be loaning it to the business as like a hard money loan to go buy more properties. Like I just get rid of it.
Right.
Because just like you, like I have willpower, but just like you, if I've got extra X amount in the bank account, like it becomes, I almost bought a freaking classic car the other day because I was like, yeah, like I have the money. I wasn't even looking for it, but a buddy's dad was selling it. And I actually still would buy it, but I wasn't getting the deal that I thought I was getting on it because I didn't understand. I didn't do enough research. So I backed out of it last minute. But like, even thinking about that, I'm like, dude, I wasn't even looking for this. And I was about to spend 30 grand.
Yep.
Just like off a whim because, well, I had the money sitting there. It wasn't working on anything. So like I immediately like got that money. I'm like, I need to go like buy a property or something to get this gone so I don't have these impulses. But yeah, no, you have to have a plan. If you have a plan for that money, and I'm glad you said it's before you even got it that you came in and were like, dude, I'm going to have this big summer. I know, like, here's my, I'm projecting this much money in the next 60 days. What should I do with it? Because I want to have a plan. I don't want to see it. Because if I see it, it's going to be really hard for me to not use it. That self-analyze, understand, and that's okay if you're that person, but like have a plan.
Yep.
And I'm so glad that you had a plan for that, because you're going to have the biggest year you've ever had. You're on track to. If you're smart and you can save a good chunk of this, like you don't change your living expenses this year, you are going to set yourself up for so much success over the next, like it's people always say your first 100 grand is the hardest 100 grand. It's so true. Once you have 100 grand saved and you're investing that, the next 100 is really easy. It's the same thing with $1 million. Your first $1 million is always the hardest. The next one really comes a lot easier.
Here's what's crazy. I have had, and this is not to brag, this is to show a principle of me being in the trenches, trying to change bad habits. Okay.
Yeah.
Since I've joined Top Notch, which has been 4 years now.
Yeah.
Every year I have had the best year I've had in my career.
Yeah.
And at the end of that year, I have had nothing to show for it. Think about that for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I have broken records. I have increased my money every year. I have made more money every year I've been in real estate than the previous year. That's quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
And I've had nothing to show for it. I said this year that stops, and I want to have something to show for it. If I'm going to keep setting this pace and breaking records of previous years, it means nothing if it's just gone at the end of the year, which it has been every year. I've been negative. I was in $40,000 of freaking debt, and I just had a record-breaking year in real estate. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Like, you have nothing to show for it.
100%.
You've got to make the change.
Majority of people live their entire life like that.
It's crazy.
Continue to increase their income. And it's hard because it's like the crazy stat is like the nicer neighborhood you live in, the higher your cost of living usually is. Not just for like your house cost, but everything else. Cause like your cost of kids is more because your neighbor's kids have things. So then you buy those things. It's crazy. And it's so easy in your head to justify, like, I've worked so hard. I'm making $200,000 a year. Like I deserve nicer things in life. When you start to say I deserve, like that's your first problem. You don't deserve anything. Like you deserve to prepare yourself for a better financial future. That's what you should be thinking about. And that's what you should be doing. But the crazy thing is like, it's so easy to just justify all these expenses and try to keep up with the Joneses when you're making good money because you feel like I'm in this higher class now. Now I'm a $200,000, a year income earner. So I need to act like one. I need to drive the nicer car. I need to do these things. My kids need to be in these private schools. And all of a sudden you're spending $20,000 a month
on stupid crap,
on stuff that you don't necessarily need.
And you will forget you will forget about it in 2 months. You will wonder, what did I spend that money on?
Yeah.
Because it's that non-important.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's sad.
It is.
And
it pisses me off because I was there. It's like I have nothing to show for it, right?
Yeah.
But that's why I'm desperate. I'm hell bent on making that change.
Because
I want to be able to look back at this year and be like, damn, okay, you made a good decision there. You actually put the money to some work. And so the principle is if you recognize that you're in a bad spot, to your point, you have the two choices: you either sacrifice or go make some more money.
Yeah.
But then when you do that, you've got to have a place for that money to go. That is going to better your life. Don't go out to eat. Don't buy new clothes. You've got to sacrifice.
You wanna know something really sickening?
Hit me.
This last conference I was at, our coach said this. Because of what you just said, you've worked all these years, you've made this money, and you don't have anything to show for it. A fun exercise is you should total the amount of money you've made in real estate all together.
I don't want to know.
And how much money have you kept?
I don't want to know.
You should do it.
It's going to be so bad.
It's going to be sick.
It is.
It's probably close to $1 million.
Probably close.
And then how much do you have left?
4 years ago, nothing to show for it. Leading up to 4 years till this past year, I've had nothing to show for it. The
craziest that was like, that one actually hit, and it hit a lot of people like a ton of bricks. It's like, how much money have you generated and made over the last 5-10 years? How much have you kept?
It's embarrassing.
Maybe 10%.
Yeah, it's embarrassing to think about that.
It is embarrassing. You're like, dude, I went and generated all this money, and where is it? Oh, I've expensed it and spent it all. I started looking like around the house, and I'm like, dude, everything in this house cost money. All the clothes, the decorations, the landscape, like everything I have cost. I paid for with money that I generated. Was all of this worth it? Absolutely not, dude. I'm looking at all my clothes and I'm like, dude, I want to throw away 95% of my clothes. I want to throw away like 90% of my shoes. I just want to give them away. Like I don't use them. But like, dude, if I actually, it would make me sick if I totaled up the cost of it all. And so it's crazy. Just like when you start to think about these things and you change your mindset, your mindset shifts. You start to look at your vehicles and you're like, dude, do I really need this vehicle? I need a vehicle. What is the purpose of a vehicle? It's to get me point A to point B. If you took away the care of what other people think about you, and you just like, you bought things based on necessity and use, like what they were used for, dude, you'd have so much more money. The truth, most millionaires are driving around in like Toyota Corollas, Toyota Camrys, not the supercars. Majority of people that are driving the nice cars they bring in a lot of money, but they don't keep it. And that should be the goal. How much can I keep? That is the game you should play. How much of my money that I bring in can I keep for me and my family? Because that's where, and then once you have that nest egg and stuff, like life gets a lot funner. So I think what I'm sad about is how big of a gap there is right now with people's average household income and what they actually need to live comfortably. A lot of people they're not even to the point in life where they can live comfortably. Your first goal should be to increase your household income. You need to do that. It's really hard. If you're making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year, where we're talking about saving money, you should not be thinking about that. You should only be thinking about going to increase your income because it is so hard to save in today's economy, if you're making $50,000-$60,000 a year, it is going to be extremely hard to get
borderline impossible
to get to financial freedom. Yes, you've probably heard the stories or read the books of like janitors that were making $40,000-$50,000 a year and got to, did these things and became a millionaire. That was like in that time, that story might've been 30, 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was a total different economy. Our dollar is worth way less today because of inflation. You've got to do the math on today's dollars. And the truth is, like, if you're not making six figures, it is going to be really hard to get ahead in life. And really, like, six figures is like you're going to break even
minimum.
comfortable. Yep. You need to be going for, honestly, I would be like, dude, even in Idaho Falls, you need to get to 150 to start to have a little bit of breathing room. My father-in-law said something to me when I was in like just graduated high school, and it was like, you really don't feel like you're living like a nice life until you're making 250. And that was 10 years ago. I now that 250 number is probably 400. It's like, you're going to really feel like you can do what you want with $400,000 a year in Idaho Falls, which is crazy. Like the fact that you
say that, and people are probably going to respond and be like, that's so astronomically high. I can't even see that in my future.
Yeah.
But it can.
100%.
It starts with just being responsible. You have to. If you're making $100K, you can save.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. It's going to suck, but you can.
Yep.
And that will get you to $400K.
And it's a little sacrifice that you need to make. You don't be in the nice house yet.
Yep.
Don't drive the nice car yet. Don't go on the nice vacations yet. You can create amazing memories with your friends and family and your kids on a budget.
Yep.
You can go camping. We have great outdoors here. You can go to, I look at our kids, and yes, we go on some cool vacations with them, but my daughter, all she really cares, her favorite thing, I asked her the other day, I was like, Soph, what's your favorite thing to do? She's like, go to Smitty's. Mm-hmm. She likes to just go to Smitty's. That's like the cheapest breakfast place here in town. And I was like, oh, because we do our daddy-daughter dates there, and she loves it. And I'm like, well, okay, going to Smitty's, but what's your other favorite thing to do? Walk the river. Mm-hmm. She just likes to go walk the river. It wasn't like, what are your favorite things to do? Like any of the trips we want to go to Disneyland. It wasn't any of that. It was like the simplest thing. So
they just want time with you.
They want time with you. Yep. So don't feel like, oh, I've got to do all these things to create memories for my family. Your family is going, you talked about it on previous episodes. The thing that you remember the most with your dad was like sitting in the hot tub at home, having a conversation. It's like, dude, it wasn't like this trip you took to anywhere, Hawaii, whatever. It's like, no, those are the core memories.
Right.
So it's like, you can do that. Don't feel this pressure that you have to go finance a vacation for your kids. No, spend time with your kids and be financially responsible so that you can build the future that you want to have with your kids and that your family deserves. So the last thing, I know we're going kind of long here. The last topic that I want to hit on, because it affects everything, is the state of the current economy. And this is something that I'm pretty passionate about because I like my whole premise of why you should be building wealth is if you're not, inflation is just going to eat away the dollar. And if you're not investing in outpacing inflation, I think it's borderline. You're just not going to be able to even live comfortably over the next 10 years because
it's already trending that way based on what we talked about. We're going to live with the pay later system because it's the only way people will be able to survive.
The fact that that's where it only really got bad. This escalated 5 years ago during COVID when they started printing money. That's when we really saw the cost of everything, asset inflation, everything started going up. That was 5 years ago. And we've seen this, we're in this pickle 5 years later. It is only going to get dramatically worse over the next 10 years. So, like I said early on in the podcast, there's about $10 trillion that needs refinanced this year. The U.S. national debt just crossed $38 trillion. This was in October, in which they added $500 billion in a single month. That's $23 billion per day added to the national debt. Interest payments on the national debt just hit $1.2 trillion. That's 17% of the federal. That's 17% of federal spending, and that's more than the entire defense budget. That's our payment on the national debt. Okay, the average interest rate on the U.S. debt was doubled from 1.6% in 2021 to 3.3% in 2025, and then more than 3.1 trillion of the maturing debt was issued 2+ years ago, and it will roll over at a higher rate than before. So, the government really has two options here. One, they can force rates down. The Fed pressure, the cost of this though, if they do this, because the reason they would force rates down is they can refinance the debt cheaper. Mm-hmm. Okay. Right now, if they refinance at today's rates, like prime rates, like 6.5%, I don't know, something crazy. So it's going to be a big jump from what the debt's currently financed at. So our payment on that debt's going to be way more. So they could try to lower rates, refinance on cheaper debt, but that's going to cause inflation. And gas prices, where gas prices are already today because of the war and stuff, like the bottom part of the economy, let's say the bottom 50% of Americans are already feeling immense pressure. The fact that we're financing groceries, like you feel the pressure already. So if you let inflation get worse, what is that going to do to the bottom 50% of America? You're going to have people start to revolt.
Which is why they will probably go to option 2 that you're about to talk about.
Which is probably why the other option is they're going to print money.
Yep.
This is what they did in COVID to stabilize the economy. They just printed more money. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then they give everybody $1,200 checks. We printed more money. Here's your money. Be happy.
Now go spend it.
Correct. Go spend it. And that's what people are going to do. They know that's what people are going to do, which is going to put more money into the economy, which is going to help.
Yep.
But the problem with this is it just devalues the dollar. And then asset prices will rise because it's going to cost more dollars because the dollar is worth less. It's going to cost more dollars to purchase things like a house or vehicles. Hard assets get repriced upward in nominal terms. So hard assets like houses, gold, silver, those kind of things, stock valuations are going to get pushed up. Real estate, gold, Bitcoin, equities, those are all going to climb. So who wins in that situation? Asset owners. Mm-hmm. Okay. And leveraged operators. This is where the key point that I want to make is you need to be focused on acquiring assets that are going to go up with the dollar getting devalued. Like I just said, real estate, Bitcoin, stocks. Those are like gold, and gold are your key levers. Those things will go up as the dollar gets devalued. If they print more money, it's going to cause those asset prices to go up. You should be holding those assets. Do not hold the dollar. Like we talk about saving on this podcast. Yes, save, but save your money to put it into an asset. Mm-hmm. Don't just save your money in a bank account.
It will not grow fast enough.
It's going to grow. It's going to decrease faster than you could ever imagine over the next 10 years. I'm honestly, I want to be careful here because there's a whole concept that I want to talk about in the next episode. It's called inflation-induced debt destruction. Okay, inflation-induced debt destruction. I'm going to give you the broad concept, but tune in for the next episode so we can really break it down. But it's basically how inflation pays down debt. That is the premise that the government basically operates on. Why can we hold a $38 trillion debt? Well, basically that debt gets cheaper the longer we hold it because of inflation. Mm-hmm. It's a very dangerous game to play, but I don't see another way out. Like the only way out I see for the U.S. economy is to print money. And if they do that, asset values are going to skyrocket. And so you need to be on the right side of this game. Make sure that you have assets. Because if you don't have assets and then all the asset values increase, you're not going to have any money to go. You're not going to be able to afford any of those assets now because they're out of realm.
Right.
And the wealthier are just going to get wealthier. The wealth gap is going to widen so dramatically over the next 10 years. I'm scared for it, but I'm like, I just want, if you're listening to this podcast, please put your money into some assets, some hard assets. Please do not just hold cash. And if you don't even have any savings, you now more than ever, you need to make changes in your life to be able to save money on a monthly basis that you can put into a hard asset. It will change your life over the next 10 years if you can do that. And it doesn't have to be crazy. Like put your money into, if you have a little bit of funds, put it into a hard asset. And then when you get a bigger nest egg, go put it into like a piece of real estate that you think that can cash flow for you and is going to increase in value as the dollar gets devalued or inflation increases. And then we'll talk about how using leverage in a good way could also really help catapult you in your wealth journey.
I'm excited to learn.
So please tune into the next episode. The next episode is going to be fire. I've done a presentation on this and I think it will really open up everybody's eyes. I would like to try to get on the TV. So then if you are watching, you can watch it on YouTube so we can kind of go through things, but I'm excited. So stay tuned for next week's episode. And thank you guys all for listening today.
Yep, it was fun.
Catch you next week.
Welcome to the chase where the champions dwell. To the grind, to the hustle, the pursuit of wealth. Every story, every journey, every climb from the shelf. Here's to the drive, to the fight, to pursue the wealth.